Friends, my friends, we are going to start the today's question and answer session. So last we are able to read what is available, what is presented as written papers to start the session, please.
Is eating meat and fish a sin? Why cats here are encouraged for hunting? They have long way to go in samsara.
It's very bad.
Is eating meat and fish a sin?
Eating fishes.
Is eating meat a sin?
No, I didn't get the question.
Is eating meat and fish a sin?
A sin.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that came into the tradition, but according to the canon, there are a lot of militants where the Buddha even consumed it and Buddha prescribed it. So, but it is not obligated. You can have your own way, but later there are some traditions. They made it something like eating fish and kind of thing. Buddha considered them as rich foods. Macho, mansam, kiram, dadi. Macho means seafoods. Mansa means flesh or meat or whatever it may be. And other curd and kind of thing. By giving them, you get more merits. So therefore, when you come to the Bhavana society, it would have decided to go for vegetables, no harm. Back at home, in the Sarvani also, it's constitutionally says it's a strict vegetarian. But under the Nisarnamane, there are some branches in different places in Sri Lanka, and they are the abbots are deciding their own wish. Some places are accepted, some places are not. But the donors or dayakas sometimes discriminating. But it is depend on the abbot. So therefore, when I was in Burma, I was vegetarian. And before going to Burma, people came and alarmed me. There won't be any vegetable table because they are using every food is given with fish preparation, just like a Maldives fish in Sri Lanka. And other thing is there won't be any translators, so you have to learn only in Burmese language. So what will be the consequences? As you go to Burma, you have to practice on the rising and falling. No anapanasati. And therefore, if you go prepared. And if it is 4, you must go prepared to cry. Because Sayadaw is making you cry some or the other. This is the way he is regimenting the meditation. So he gave one day, same kind of a question happened. He answered the question 1.5 hours. And in front, myself and Vivekananda and others, we are vegetarian. We are senior disciples. Then the Sayadaw told, when I am going to analyze him in a proper way, some of the disciples may not be happy, but that was not a compulsory or obligatory in literature, so keep it open. And some of our close disciples observed the Sayadaw's meal. He also virtually vegetarian. He never eats. Occasionally he observed taken some chicken or something like that, but he is virtually vegetarian, but he never prescribed it. So therefore it is, I don't know whether it is a sin or not. Yes? Speak louder.
Pavattamansa, right? Dead animals, okay, but
Yeah, there are Trikoti Parisuddha, Pavattamansa, a lot of occasions are there to argue that is to be, it is free. It is not a sin. So I am not going to discuss in detail. I am telling the very first statement may be true in some traditions that don't attribute it to the Buddha's teaching.
If someone is in a coma, where is his or her mind? Cannot leave the body, not dead.
Not leave the body.
Yeah. Yeah.
So first, you have to go to coma and experience it. I mean that if you have that kind of experience, that will be very adventurous. But in meditation, whenever you are dealing with the primary object, the object is becoming at the beginning gross and subtle and completely absent like. And that time there will be some thoughts and pain and sounds. Ultimately, everything goes. And you feel like you are completely in a deep sleep. But there are some signs you are not in a sleep also. And you have to master it long time. And that's a kind of a unknown area. So usually we have a fear for unknown. But that kind of experience is very, very important to go into the noble eightfold path, to go into the middle path. So therefore, if you are a practitioner, you may appreciate that kind of thing is in a part and parcel of our mind. But we always try to keep the mind in known areas. That's the point where egotism can get full nourished, get full established. When the references are lost, your ego is lost. So Buddha find four criterion whereby our recognition or cognition can get lost. Linga, nimitti, uddesha, akara. If you wish to recognize this from that, the linga, there are features. Nimitta, what does it indicate to you? This and that. Akara, they are behavioral pattern and this behavioral pattern. And the name of that and name of this. So when you keep on practicing your primary object, you are slowly losing all the four characters. You can see rising and falling at the beginning contrast. In breath and out with very contrast. But when you keep on practicing, in breath becomes merged into out breath. There are no margins. And the labeling in breath and out breath becoming a problematic. And the behavioral pattern changes. And the name in breath and out breath lost. So appear like you are not breathing. But what happens was their individual intrinsic characteristics dissolve into the flux, dissolve into the datum line. Our mind then indicates it is lost. So that kind of a thing may be in coma, but without our direct experience, very difficult. So that is a big question in euthanasia. When the patient go euthanasia, I mean that the very terminal, sometimes few years, the body can live. Only the throat and the rectum and the breathing muscles are working. All that lost. In American society, some states understand if the brain is not functioning, it is dead. Some other provinces, they say if the heart is not functioning, it is dead. That's the way they indicate the death. But no conclusion. So euthanasia in books in Holland, you see that one of my family members is in the euthanasia, is in the intensive care unit. It's very expensive to keep it and do not know whether we will recover or not. Under such circumstances, if you have a last will and you can give it, and if it is so, someone can terminate from the machine, the iron one. And there's a one doctor called Dr. Death. He is happy to handle that case, and he go and inject magnesium sulfate or something like that. And so that at the coma level, very difficult to say it's living or not. So therefore, it is very difficult unless otherwise you have first-hand experience. If you have any kind of thing, we can share. But for the moment, sorry, I don't have. And the other thing was my mother also in the same, and she was there for 5-6 days in coma. And in the coma only she passed away. And we don't know how was the case. So we don't know the end of our life also. But the coma is not definitely the end of the life. There may be some episodes, epilepsy and other kinds of thing. It is going to coma and coming back. So very difficult to relate with the mindfulness.
Dear Bhante, sometimes when I practice mindfulness of breathing, I feel a sense of calm watching the in-breath and out-breath flow. It builds up running from my face to my heart, and I feel like smiling. What do you think this is, and how can I use it to deepen my practice?
So when such a thing happens, you can claim this as my experience, or you can say it is an experience, very difficult to say it is me, mine and myself. It's a kind of a thing, happens. So advancement means you have to familiarize the situation again and again. But it is not under your control. Only what you can do is giving the conducive factors, proximate causes that to happen. But it's a kind of suicidal experience. Because all your claims and other measuring sticks all go. So hardly anyone can appreciate that kind of experience. Most of the time people get frightened because they can't relate it. No language, no limits. And it is happening always as a mishap or accidental thing. So therefore, according to the, as I gather, the teaching of the Buddha, you have to go up to that level and indicate that you have the potential to be enlightened. But first going may be in the linear system or with a methodical way. But when you keep on practicing, it will be quite frequent in your practicing time as well as not in the other times. And thereby you can make that your second nature. Up to the point, you have to understand that is your real nature. In other places, you are in a dream. You are in eccentric. That is why the memory happens. That is why you can claim this me, mine, and myself. But when the experiences are going that kind of unmanifested, unsupported situation, this is a possibility in our human mind. So all the worldly knowledges are based upon the negative of that state. But the Buddha, after experiencing it, this is not Nibbana as such, but it's a part and parcel to Nibbana. You must have 50-50. Of the time, you can't claim this as me or mine or myself. And in respect to other time, you have experiences, seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, you can claim it. And there you can consider which one is more beneficial for your well-being. Which one is leading to consumerization? Which one is leading to frugalism? Which one is leading to consuming nothing? Mind is not working in a relative way. Speech, no. Body, no. And that kind of a hibernation is the most conducive for your well-being. So we have to start from the present situation and slowly go there, come back again, go there. Likewise, when you are familiarizing that, I would claim this as the advancement of the practice. First incident indicate you have the potential, you have the possibility. Either you can be considered as a fearful situation or challenge, or otherwise you can consider this as something to be explored. So I am in the side that you have to explore and familiarize it again and again. Then only while living in this earth, you are not living in this earth, on this earth. So that is the best thing in the religious and philosophical practice.
As a healthcare worker, I practice metta with my patients, and I enjoy the seeing healing in my patients. When I sit to meditate, meditating on Metta Sutta, how metta can lead to enlightenment, not entering a womb, I get much samadhi, equanimity, and rapture. Doing this, I start my meditation with breath and go to metta. What's your thoughts?
Last sentence, please.
I start my meditation with breath and go to metta. What is your thoughts?
So we had a session in Norelli Hospital, invitation from the hospital. So I just wanted to make a surprise visit, so I also went there. And the director was there, and the doctors, nurses, attendants, and everything. And I thought having 1 hour, but anyway, it went for about 2 hours, nearing the lunchtime, so I was in a rush. But anyway, I just wanted to listen to people rather than preaching or teaching. And while discussions are going on, one attendant lady started to speak. She told, I am a very, very successful attendant. Whenever I go and treat, I definitely know that patient become better. That is my intrinsic nature. But later I went to your meditation center. I had 3 days residential retreat. Then only I understood what I am doing is simple mindfulness. Sometimes I call it as a metta, sometimes I call it as a healing power. But when you are doing something mindfully, and then you understand mindfulness covering everything. And while talking, the director told me she was an asset to our hospital because she's so motherly. Then I told you are the best person to become a master trainer. You can't share this because it is something inbuilt. But this is what the metta, that is what the mindfulness is. So definitely I will be happy one day to undergo the mindful master training program and share it. So therefore, encompassing all the good qualities in mindfulness, we can give different names. So therefore, without that, in a blanket approach, we can say just be mindful, and it will take care of everything. So therefore, these characteristics, everything is facilitated by mindfulness, is promoted by. So all your good qualities will be promoted. So therefore, first, I would say it will be a little harsh, but I would say be mindful and mind your business.
Dear Bhante, we have seen you do walking meditation all the time. Can you explain importance of walking meditation and have Buddha prescribed this anywhere in scriptures, please?
Yeah, there is one sutta called Chankamanisansa Sutta, and thereby the Buddha gave 5 benefits. when you are doing walking meditation, Adhana kamo homati, padhana kamo, asite pite kaite saite samma parinama gachanti, ankamadikato samadhi, chiratitiko hoti. I think I enumerated before. The first thing is adhana kamo hoti, padhana kamo. That means if you are preparing yourself for a long journey, the walking meditation is the acclimatization process, or changing climates, or changing everything. But if you are practicing mindfulness, you will never stop your journey halfway. You can go to the end. In agriculture, we learn when you are shifting cattle or any animal from one location to the other location, they find difficult to acclimatize. If it is so, we give vitamin B12 injection. Then they acclimatize. So our meditative life, vitamin B12 injection is walking meditation. Adhana kamo. And if you are taking a journey of celibate life, it is not one event. It's so much of events. It's a long journey. And with me, so much of thousands of people started. They halfway they dropping. They can't continue. Because they are not giving enough time for walking meditation. Walking meditation is a pacemaker, or peacemaker, or acclimatization. And I one day met Bhante, and he's walking. And then I asked Bhante, how many hours you are walking daily? He says, morning 1 hour, evening 1 hour. First day when I come and I came at 8 o'clock here and had a sitting. And when I'm going there, he was waiting with the walk right, this thing. And I told Bhante, I am Dhammaji. I know, you are Dhammaji. But if you are not there, I would have done my walking round here. But since you are practicing, I never come. I just walk there. Then I told, I am a visitor. You are the resident one. You must take your own. When you are meditating, I must not disturb. Then I told, you are not disturbing. You are very silent. Never mind. Then next time I asked, how many hours? 2 hours. Then I told, that is the way you are. That's the way you are thriving in this old age. Yes. So therefore, my teacher in Sri Lanka, he was 93 years old, and soon after the meal, washing hands, we are eating with hands, washing hands, he never look after anything, he just go to walking meditation. And most of the time, he's in walking. It's a fairly fat built body, always walking. And he has written essays. I wrote 3 books on walking meditation, explaining these anisans or benefits. Adhana kamo hoti, padhana kamo. The other one, asite pite kaite saite sama parinama gachanti. Whatever you have eaten, chewable, whatever the drinks, what you are licking, and anything will digest. As far as you are doing walking meditation. And the other thing is, when you are gaining some kind of tranquility or concentration in walking, it is durable. Sitting concentration and tranquility, soon you get up, that's finished. But the walking is, you are doing with some activity, so therefore you can practice in a lot of different places, as well as the durability is there. And I searched through many sacred books in different denominations. Nowhere mentioned walking as a meditation. Only in the Buddhist scripts. And that is the only thing lost in Sri Lankan Buddhism. When you go to a monastery or temple, you never find walking paths. All the other constructions are there. So now we have managed to introduce walking paths in there are 40 prisons present in Sri Lanka. All the 40, we have put up walking meditation. In my school, I left the school 50 years ago, and I donated walking path. And many Piriven education, you know, that is where the monks are learning. And there I give a common free offer. If you need any walking paths, I sponsor. There's one person with me, he completely saved his life due to walking. He got a very nasty disease, and it happened to him to go for medicines, steroids, I think. And doctors prescribe, your sugar level will go up anything, and your eyesight will be badly damaged. But that fellow underwent the treatment, and the sugar level is normal, and there were some difficulties in eye. And the whole hospital was interested in and asked. Then I told, I go to the meditation center, I drink hot water, I do walking. And now that hospital is hiring him as the meditation master. Whole hospital, now everywhere they put up walking paths. And we are spreading walking paths in maternity wards. And we are trying with the pregnant one to introduce walking, because the womb also get benefited. When the pregnant woman is walking, there are 1.5 souls, not only one soul, because the womb. And there are some research they have done. The mothers participated children before meditation, before mindfulness, and after the mindfulness, the huge difference between the children. They are love to the mother and nature-loving kind of characters. So walking path, and in Buddhist scriptures, there is one term called gap period. Whenever a girl or a newly mother became pregnant, there's a special kind of treatments. The term is there, we don't know. So I interpreted that whenever you're pregnant, you must go to a retreat. You must start mindfulness, you must start walking meditation. So I have few examples now. When I go to Bhavana, last time, at that time, the president, our Satipasara president was with me, and he went to the cyber and told, one day I'm going to go to Sri Lanka back, I will come back. Then he says, you can go, but if you're going now, you can't come back. These matters are so important because you are doing very prime thing here. Why you are going to? Then he says, I'm sorry, my daughter is going to get married. So after finishing that, I will come. Then I was thinking, okay, soon after the honeymoon, you have to bring the couple to meditation. If it is so, you can go, I am waiting for you. It happened. So I told, soon the daughter become pregnant, she must come to me. Happened. And 2 weeks before the partition, again. And the child is now 7 years old. And they are coming from the heaven realm. They have these characteristics of meditative life. So more than sitting, walking is the best for the multitasking people, pregnant women, prisoners, drug addicts, and abused children, adverse childhood experience. I mean, they can't sit and meditate because their mind is so disturbed. But walking, easily they can understand the peace. So therefore, the Buddha attributed 5 qualities, if when you are practicing, how you get then their experience. They are not after the life experience. In this very life, so therefore, in the Bhavana Society timetable, no time allocated for meditation. Sorry, walking meditation. the Venerable Sadhguru came and presented me the timetable. It's a completely odd kind of a timetable. 1 hour allocated for mindful games. That is not in our traditional transfer of the timetable. In Nisarnamani, back at home, 1 hour sitting, 1 hour walking, 1 hour sitting, 1 hour walking. That is the way it is going. But I found you, even though it is not mentioned, you take your own time for walking. Another appreciable thing is you're not chattering each other. This is something appreciable. So, but I had no chance to talk about the benefits of walking meditation. So thank you for the answering, giving the question. And I think we have a number of videos. I asked the facilities if it is available, 3 minutes, 4 minutes on walking meditation. And the way the Buddha explained it, the examples are given classic. So we'll see, if possible, to see some of the videos. They are available in the web. You should go and type www.satipasala.com. Satipasala is mindful school. And you have a window for videos. And there you can go for walking meditation and English medium, Sinhala and Tamil. So you can open the English part and small children, young children, they are walking and you can see whereby we have prescribed and quoted the particular suttas. So I think enough for the time about this question.
Excuse me, but satipasala.org.
Not the not the So thank you very much for the correction.
As inspiration to the beginners in the group, can you tell the story of your meditation journey? What were your challenges? What were your successes or aha moments? What are your recommendations and encouragements?
So I try to share as much as possible. When I was a robust young man, when I started, age 26, and in Sri Lanka, meditation is for the old crowds, not for the young people. Elderly people, they go to the, before go to the cemetery, they go to the temples. Towards the latter part of your life, not the latter part of your day. And it's full of old age people. So when I practiced, it was Venerable Sravasti Dhammika. He was a disciple of the last disciple of Anagarika Dhamma. Anagarika Dhamma is a Sri Lanka, very good Buddhist activist. And he was not a meditation practitioner. And Australian. So I met with him and he kicked me out. Just like a cockroach comes to him. So then I was upset, but then I made up my mind one day, somebody I had to achieve. And when he told, as far as you are not mindful, you are a beast. In Sri Lankan Buddhism, is completely no essence. And I told, yes, we don't know what the mindful is. So when I again and again went there, I met in the night, 9:30 to 10:30. He gave very odd times. It's a walking distance. Then I was so convinced the way he was explained. It's completely not in a traditional way. If it is so, I wouldn't have taken that job as a young person. He told, as far as you are practicing, don't tell anyone, don't hint anyone that you are a practitioner. As far as you are showing, you are getting so much of troubles. People try to prescribe. People try to expect this and that. Just play head. Just play man. Just don't change your lifestyle. Just be mindful. And the second thing is, in the second year in the university, and for 2 years' time, I will pass out as a graduation. And definitely, I am going to marry. He told, don't do it. Whether you are get a good girl or bad girl, it's a hindrance. මැනික වුණත් එක විදියයි නෝනා වුණත් එක විදියයි මැනික වුණත් නෝනා වුණත් උඹට වඩේම. ඒ සිංහල. So therefore, it was a very hard thing for me because I have poems thinking about the married life and that I never say no, I never say yes. So I decided. It was very difficult to keep it up with my batchmates and the family members and kind of thing. Somehow the other I managed. The third thing he told, if you are going to do any job, you will be utterly successful. Ultimately, you will carry the day by money. You will be a slave. You will be a draft animal to the capitalistic system. Don't do any job. So it was difficult. And I am coming from the poor family. So it happened me to do a job in a Norwegian company. And I started as an assistant production manager. And within 7 years, I became the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. And I was doing international business in the foliage plants, the decorate plants, sending to Holland. And labor management, recruitment, research and development, propagation. It was a full training for me. 6 years time, I was so successful. When I go there were 85 workers. So during my time, it went up to 350. And all went for a strike to kick me out. But a blessing. And one first job. It was heartbreaking. And meanwhile, I am practicing. The Norwegian person, he also middle class person. He told it is like Africa. You have done so much of thing for the economy and the everything. How do people revolt against you? I feel sorry for you. And he wrote my resignation letter. It is just a matter of putting the signature. Then I directly went to the ordination. Soon after that. And no one can expect because I was so successful in the job. The company is still there, but it may not be so successful. And I don't know where to go and practice because I'm sorry to tell you, I see monks as jokers, international jokers. They never live up to the teaching of the Buddha. So I can't pay respect to them. And I criticized them from A to Z. And I was contemplating. Ultimately, I decided to become a monk. I mean, 3 foods, 3 clothings, 3 dwellings, 3 medicine. I had money at that time. But when I go there, I was so absorbed about this monastic life. Go along the queue and serve what you need, have it. Just like prisoners go and serve themselves and have it. And the clothings, everywhere I go, people offer robes. So it is enough to burn my body once I get tired. So much of robes. And the dwellings. When I come here, I get the best food. Wherever I go. And then is the determination of the Buddha. And the medicine wise, let me explain. I am using my own urine. That's a panacea. That's the only medicine Buddha prescribed. And on top of that, I have Ayurvedic medicine, I have allopathic medicine, all the kind of thing. I can't understand why bloody lay people are not taking the decision. You're almost monks, you're full qualified, and the traditional monk you are practicing and all the kind, but still you like your household. I like you because you give all the materials to me.
Go and nobody.
So that is that I have given this talk and this kind of thing in different facets. And I'm the happiest on the earth. I have nothing, no one to cry. I am traveling all over the world, not a single cent in my hand. Wherever I go, I feel like relatives. And you fellows from America. I am coming from the Sri Lanka tradition, but no communication gap. I mean, few days time, we understand each other. I mean, how much we are in the same arm, we are in the same humanity. It is basically due to the mindfulness. So I feel I must give it to someone. Otherwise it is not fulfilled because I am such a rascal at my life. Done all the kind of dirty things. Breaking precepts is my basic hobby. You give you 10 precepts, I break all the 10. Now I know 227 rules. After becoming a monk, had I known that, I would have broken that rule. Nothing prevents me from becoming mindful. Openly I am telling my batchmates and my family, friends and others, they know who am I. They never trust me. Even after 36 years of my monkhood, they still have doubt about me, whether I am cheating still. So I have a kind of a relationship with the known and unknown people. And during the mindful school, I get a greater exposure to the other denominations, other religious and languages and kind of things. Feel like a universal person. And the secret is mindfulness. And you have already started with. Why don't you explore? Why don't you fly? Wingtip to wingtip, nothing but a thought. That is how John Buck explained the Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Have you read the book?
Yes,
No.
I love this book.
He is learning how to fly. He's a pilot and he is attributed to the seagull. And he is trying all the ways possible, diving and kind of thing. And while he is flying, he says, from wingtip to wingtip, it's only a thought, nothing but a thought. So such a sharing of the experience. So this is how the monkhood is. Still it is available. So I am one of the examples. So now I am not fighting with monks. I know how to balance it. And I see that the great disciples, not in the society at large, but now they are more and more getting coherent and more connected with me. So that is, I am a lucky person, so that's enough for the day.
Dear Bhante, can you advise how to move from rapture during meditation to tranquility? Thank you.
Rapture?
Can you advise how to move from rapture during metta meditation to tranquility?
Yeah, in the metta meditation, there are 524 methods. You can diversify the metta. And then only after doing that kind of a way, only you go to the first jhana. And in metta meditation, usually you have 3 jhanas. Fourth one is tranquility. With the metta mindset, you can't go to tranquility. So there with the 3rd jhana in the metta meditation, it is piti to sukha. In between all the tranquility coming to be. Between piti and sukha, tranquility. So there you feel the Pandita Sayadaw famous for bare insight or pure insight system. Master on Metta Bhavana. So he had a one-to-one relationship with me in advising And he was telling that he was explaining even in the normal Dhamma talks. Imagine you are walking in a sand desert, and so much of sandy desert with no water, and you are so thirsty, and your water resources also gone. So you are just waiting, and then you can see an oasis in a far distance, and you see, and which you can walk up to that, definitely you will get water or resources. And whenever you go there, you can drink water, you can bathe, and you can use water lilies and others for garlands, because you can immerse into water. So likewise, when you are in the, specifically in the third jhana, in a very hot summer, you have a floating water source, and you take one bucket and pour in a pot, and take another bucket and pour in a pot. So how you feel the treatment of water is something like that. So therefore, the tranquility is not directly mentioned in the Metta Bhavana. It's so Piti and Sukha, and tranquility is in between. But in Metta meditation, equanimity is not applicable. Metta means you have loving kindness to all the beings. So you cannot develop equanimity. So therefore, only three jhanas, fourth jhana with equanimity and one-pointedness not available for jhanic experience. So tranquility is yes, but it is also treated in between piti sukha. In Bojjhanga way of analysis only, piti leads to tranquility and then concentration and then to equanimity. So metta is something different. Tranquility is not relevant to the metta sphere.
Dear Bhante, I've been practicing Vipassana meditation for many years, and I'd like to include the 7 purifications into my practice. The 7 purifications
Beautiful.
into my practice. What is your opinion on this, and how can I start?
If you are reading the canon, the Sutta Nipaka, that's just a gist of it, or it is in archaic language. In the Sutta Nipaka, never explain the gradation. Soon you listen to the Dhamma, you become Arahant. But when you come to the other Pitaka books like Digha Nikaya, long discourses and middle discourses, there are Sotapanna, Anagami, Sakadagami, Anagami, Aryat. Just one leap into 4 stages. And then to become Sotapanna, when it comes to the Ratavinita Sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, it says how a commoner develop in 7 stages to go to the first the unrevertible Sotapanna. Sila Visuddhi, Chitta Visuddhi, Citta Visuddhi, that is how it happens. And that is the frame when Buddha was told, Buddha was taken, and he wrote a big treatise, book, and that is what we call Theravada. But in the Mahayana tradition, they are not limited to these 7 stages. And it is explaining the linear system, how to develop. But the meditation is not always linear. Sometimes it is in a matrix. Sometimes it is taking as a system, not by strand, not by a linear system. So 7 stages of purification is the linear system and how it is going. And later that is being further elaborated into 18 vipassana jhanas or insight jhanas, atasa vipassana. And some of them are very preliminary, and then how it develops to go up to Sotapatti Magga jhana. So likewise, it is expanding, it is analytically, it is going more and more. And for the, even the Mahasi system is utterly following these 7 stages of purification. And when Jnanarama, my teacher, wrote a book about 7 stages purification and Vipassana Jnana. And that is the book I met up while I am practicing as a layperson. First, I read Power of Mindfulness. That is, I checked it. I should have copies in the library, but so far I was not. I managed to see it, and if it is so, read it. And then when the Jnanarama's book, we could both translate it into English and publish in the Buddhist Publication Society. I read the Sinhala. So when I read each and every word, each and every sentence, is kind of a pragmatic meaning for me. I can't read 1 or 2 pages, immediately I feel like go and practice. And when that comes up to a certain kind of understanding or pragmatism, then only I read the other part. So likewise, when the company people kick me out, I got continuous 23 days leave before taking a decision. I went to meditation center and practicing. So I feel like when Jnanarama is in front of me, because that book, and it appeared like my prescription for my disease. And I was reading, and I thought that Jnanarama is a historical man, I don't know. And later I found that he is living. So went and pay respect to him. I told Bante, I came from Kandy and I did not bring even a beetle leaves. So usually when you go to the elderly people, we take as a gift. I bought nothing. And I am not expecting any advice also from you. I just wanted to see, I wanted to pay respect to the legs of the same person who has written the book. Why you are making such comments like that? Then I told Bante, I have to read books, and this is a kind of a practical thing. So therefore, I was so thankful for you. Then he told, I am very happy that unknown young people are getting benefited by these books, and therefore, find place for the rest of your life for practice. So every book is not equally written, but this particular book had special application for me. So this is the frame of Theravada tradition. That is the name of the Visuddhi Marga, is coming from that 7 stages of purification. And it is done by 2 great disciples, discourse, not the Buddha. And from that only the Rakavinita Sutta came into being. And you can refer it to get the canonical name.
Bante, you mentioned how the jhana is an individual experience and that the commentaries and books do not match it. I have found this in the beginning. I looked at Visuddhimagga and books on jhana, and even though I was going into jhana, the things I read made me a bit confused, having doubt. This is because of their obsession with nimitta. Ajahn Brahm described in his book in such a way, so glorious and shining, most beautiful color in the world, etc., etc. I do get the sign, but I would not describe it that way at all. It is not as thrilling as all that. For me, it becomes like a scope or a magnifying glass. There is a circle shape, sometimes large, so that the circle takes up the whole front and its rounded edge is in my periphery. Other times it is medium-sized. It is usually clear with an edge of white light around it. Sometimes it is magenta-like color. Please explain what is the nimitta and what it is all about. What I must know about this nimitta to master the jhanas. Thank you kindly.
So I also can give another kind of interpretation. So it will be another book like. So therefore, when you are practicing, books are giving, the linear systems are giving some hints. And it will be helpful like milestones or road signs like. But when you are going, the way that you experience, you have a bad habit of expectation of the writings of the book and the examples given. But what you experience is unique to you. There may be some similarities, but not always. So therefore, you are advancing, keep on practicing, and don't try to fix a nimitta. That means you are fixing ego. You are fixing your relationship with the nimitta. It is me, it is mine, it is myself. So in jhanic experience, it's okay because only vipassana only be challenging. So therefore, the nimitta appear according to your mindset on that particular context. And you try to expect it as a consistent, throughout, or persistent. That is because of your self-love. You wanted to make it hard and fast. But they are mind projections. So therefore, books and other things are enumerating a lot of things, but let it be free. Let it be, expect anything to happen. But nimitta is a sign, and you have to see the rapture aspect, the tranquility aspect, and the concentration aspect, and the equality. So these are the inner qualities. They are depicted in terms of a nimitta. And Vimutti Magga is talking about nimittas, not only circles, it with a rectangular shape, square shape, and kind of thing. But when it comes to the Visuddhi Magga, it's always talking all the, prepared nimittas must be circle, round shape. What you call Kasina nimitta. And that is what you get Ukkaha nimitta. Likewise, that's the same image only you keep in your mind. And that is the projection pattern. So therefore, don't much worry. I would say, according to the writing, you are advancing. So keep the open mindset, continue with it, and occasionally, according to the circumstances, it may be changing. Whenever it becomes hard and fast, you get stuck. Whenever it is evolving, you are advancing. So therefore, keep it open.
Thank you, Bhante, for sharing, teaching us this retreat. Is it possible to experience tranquility alignment factor without experiencing rapture?
So that is in the linear way, linear education, the mindfulness is leading to the investigation is leading to energy aspect, energy is leading to rapture is leading to tranquility. That is at the Bojjhanga level. But if you go to the faculty level, Saddha is leading to Virya, Saddha is leading to energy, and that is leading to mindfulness, and mindfulness is leading to Samadhi, Samadhi is leading to wisdom. So they are before mindfulness, energy aspect. After the mindfulness, concentration aspect. But in Bojjhanga, start with mindfulness, and then investigation, then the energy aspect, and then the piti, or tranquility, and then the rapture, and then the tranquility. So this is the way, if you see the 37 factors of enlightenment, each and every toolkit packed in a different ways. There are 8 toolkits, but packed in different ways. So therefore, our mind is always trying to make it hard and fast. to make it my pet way. But as you keep on practicing, whole dispensation, we can say, Sila Sikha, Samadhi Sikha, Panya Sikha. That means restraint in restraining morality, concentration, and wisdom. When it comes to the Noble Eightfold Path, you start with wisdom, and then morality, and then concentration. That is a different dimension. So that is how living Dhamma, the hard and fast and the whole written on the rocks and kind of thing, they are not living. So when it is happening, they are taking different shapes. And our mind is fully ready for that. Human mind is fully prepared. Our education only made our mind lenient, whereby we lose the system approach. We lose the matrix approach. But that may be our nature. Our left side of the brain, left hemisphere, is lenient. Right side is the system approach, aesthetic path. So we never go to the aesthetic path. The present day education and the science and everything overemphasize on this linear system. So people kill themselves. They don't have feeling for the mother earth. They don't have aesthetic ideas. So even the female become males. Masculinity, fighting. So that is why I am not married. I search for a nice girl, but they are all no feminine characters, no system approach, no aesthetic path. And my mother was a very good example. I was searching, still I don't see any equal character. So we are always promoting. So you all people are exposing your children to that mercenaries education. They don't have feeling. Therefore, you always expect Russian comedies, it says from Sunday morning to Friday evening, everything moving from the left to right. The education is teaching right from the left to the right. The Saturday and Sunday, everywhere people are running and up and down because you are playing. As far as you are going to schools, from Sunday morning to Friday evening, everything is happening from left to right. What a condition. So mindfulness is deconditioning, destructuring schooling, and let the mind to grow from the balanced way. So you have equal way for the system approach or matrix kind of development, and very difficult to write in technical writing. So therefore, believe you have the capacity, you have the potential, you have the possibility, that you have to give a proper chance, even trusting and based upon the linear education, you can slowly go there, and the shifting of the dimension shift can happen. That's what the 7 stages of purification.
As a beginner, when my primary object faded away during meditation, what can I do except picking another object as primary? How to continue?
So that is what, as far as you are depending on the primary objective, you think this as the datum line. Whenever it is disappearing, you develop fear, you develop uncertainty. So that is the trick Buddha is playing. Whatever the objective associate, at the beginning it is cross, and slowly it becomes subtle, and ultimately it almost like disappear. That is, your gross ego becomes subtle, and ego is almost gone. So you see this as a threat of disappearing object. So instead you reintroduce another object, rather than acclimatizing to the no object situation, no boundary situation, endless situation. And that is very difficult to teach in groups. But you can take it as your own noble quest. whenever such uncertainties happen, why don't you spend few minutes, few seconds without introducing? Introducing is not a crime, I accept. But you can just let go. That's why I told that when you are sending kites, when the thread is broken, the kite will flow. Not always on the way back home, you have to bring the kite to home. Sometimes you can cut the thread, it will go. And that is kind of fearful in the present day civilization. People are always fixing them. They wanted to have permanent name, permanent properties, permanent wife, permanent house, permanent car. And that is what they want. And living at the deathbed, all go. So, Amit Goswami is writing a book, Physics of the Soul. And he says life is a long formula, you have to work it out in the whole way. But at the end, you have to multiply it by 0. Everything becomes null and void. Then at the day, lost. So, but in meditation, you are rehearsing it. You are rehearsing it. What will happen? The object of meditation disappears. What will happen? Your image disappears. What will happen? You are lost. So, young children, they are happy to play with this game. And when you become old age, I'm sorry. Because I am also becoming old now. So therefore be careful that whatever you are getting, grasping and holding to boost your ego is a maya, is a dream, is a drama. You are in a role play now. That you don't know who am I. In order to understand, face uncertainties, unknown, and whereby your whole brain is working. As far as you are in the known area, less than 4% of your brain is working. Which is in a rut. Whenever everything goes, you feel like lost. But that is the point, and it is frequent experience is that your very object is disappearing. But you don't think, but you don't understand, you can deduce it. That's where your ego is disappearing. Or self-centeredness disappearing. So, no object, another object, no harm, but just try without getting anything, get lost occasionally. And if you feel like you need oxygen or you need glucose or you need artificial respiration, we can provide.
If one has learned jhana meditation and go all the way up to level 8, for example, the next time when they sit to meditate, can they directly and immediately access any level without going through lower levels, or one can only sequentially access them?
So that is why when you are practicing 1 to 8, there are called jhana dramas or jhana krida games. You have Patavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo, Po, and Nila, Pita, Lohita, Odata, 4 colors and 4 elements. And this Patavi 1 to 8, Apo 1 to 8. So you can have a chart 8 by 8, 64. So you have been trained in the Patavi, earth element, as an object. You develop 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then once mastered, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 6, 8. Likewise, you skip it. And then go to the Patavi, Apo. There are also 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 3, 5, 7. And 2, 8. Likewise, you play it with. Ultimately changing the objects also. So once you master, within 1 minute, you have to practice all the 64. So much of mastery. Under such circumstances, you can directly go into the top level or medium level or where. Otherwise, it's a normally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And during the time of the Buddha, there was a very dangerous venomous cobra or serpent, which is not the Muslim there. And it was covering the area, no one can conquer it. And one day when it was Sariputta is going there, and people say, don't go this area, because there's a very venomous serpent is there. Mokalani is going there. And when you go there, that there's a naga means that like a dragon. In Indian culture, we call naga. Chinese culture, we call dragon. And appear like a serpent. And he start creating fire element. And when Sariputta also creating the same kind of a jhana, and he also creates fire. And the serpent again create water element, and when Sariputta also go with water. And the Naga is skillful, changing one to the other without going to the fourth jhana as the base. It can shift one to the other very quickly. Usually people has to come back to the platform of fourth jhana. And when Mokkallana is the only disciple, he also can do. So ultimately he tamed the fellow, it into his bone. And then the Buddha says, next to me, he is the only person can shift one object to the other, one jhana to the other, without coming back to the center or the fourth jhana. So therefore, it is depending on your mastery, skillfulness. So it is called jhana kriya, like mindful gaze. Once you develop, you have to play with it. Yeah. Right?
Can you share a favorite parable? That's the question. Can you share a favorite
I
parable?
don't get any meaning of that. What do you mean?
I don't know. There's another question. I have meditated for many years and have experienced moments of calm, but never bliss or anything metaphysical. Do we just keep trusting the process?
Keep trusting that.
They haven't had any
Awesome.
bliss or metaphysical experiences, so they just keep on going on with practice.
Yeah, one day there was a huge offering of medicines in Sri Lanka. My teacher was participating, and they are offering huge amounts herbal medicine and all the rest. Then one person came and asked, Bhante, you all are practicing so much. Is there any monks, those who can fly? Our teacher goes to here ask, even the crows are flying. So do you think that flying is such a big magic? It is not the way. The way is the purification. So as far as the external sasana, on the teaching others and convincing, these must be there. And always self-aggrandization. So Buddha stopped it. Earlier it was valid, and later it was don't do it. Because that is the way you can do it. Ultimately that becomes a blockage for you. So therefore develop all the qualities, but don't try to show. Be humble. That's the way unhindered development can happen. Otherwise, each and every achievement, if you are going to brag, if you are going to advertise, ultimately people consider you as a healer. People consider you as a magician. And then you also will stuck into that end. And then Buddha was going with the disciple, and they met up with a river. And the boat is going that way. So he was waiting. And there was another ascetic came and started walking on the water. Went to the other shore. And the disciple asked, Bhante, you are omnipotent, omniscient knowledge. Why don't you walk? This other ascetic is doing, but there was kept silent. And boat is going there and coming back. He is asking to, not for the Buddha, but usually how much you charge to bring one person to the other. And say 20 cents or something like that. Then ask disciple that all your magic is only costing 20 cents. Just wait and go with the boat. This is the way. So therefore this mystical and that kind of thing is camouflage, and it is making stories. It's always with religion. When you are reading the Holy Scripts, you see how much is sprinkled with this and that magic. I think they are some kind of a condiments added. And you must understand to get the gist rather than this decoration and the costumes and kind of thing. Otherwise, the religion become such rituals and kind. So therefore, during the time of the Buddha itself, these questions are being answered in a pragmatic way. So therefore, don't try to let your mind to take it for a ride. Just be simple. Try to be scientific, pragmatic. What is tangible, what is verifiable is the most important.
Bhante, sometimes I find that focusing on the primary object, the breath, is easier when I meditate after physical activity, like a long walk or at the end of a yoga class. Why does this happen? How can I use that knowledge to help me if I just want to practice meditation or sitting mindfulness without an activity beforehand?
So that means we are forgetting about everything and try to be with mindfulness on the in-breath and out-breath. It becomes a task. As the gentleman mentioned, when he was doing mindful game at the beginning, his aim was to go very quickly, so he lost the breath. After a while, he remembered, I was fighting and I was in this thing and lost the breath. So much so, his contribution to the group is disturbing. Soon you come back to the breath, who recorded it? And his team was winning. So that's why when you are practicing mindfulness on breath, it is not always in the sitting. Whenever mind is become eccentric, that indicates the resilience of the mind. It come back to your how do you call your base, the at-home situation. So we must, without mindfulness, we don't have such a team in our life. So we don't know whether mind is mindful or not, because there is no data on that. But once you develop it, don't expect it is happening only in the sitting. Wherever you go, it becomes your second, as the Buddha says, it is next best friend, the breath. It's a free of charge. So therefore, have it. And you may find numerous practical uses of the breath, specifically in difficulties and in multitasking.
You've talked about the relationship between faith and wisdom. Can you say more about what faith means in this context, especially for those who are not Buddhist?
No, not only Buddhist, Buddha says all the religions, starting with faith, including Buddha. Faith is believing. And the wisdom is analytical power. So therefore, you can't do away with faith or you can't do away with analytical mind. So the balance is the most pragmatic and practical. So therefore, all the religions, so those who are atheists, they don't have faith. But they say they are more faithful to atheism than the people faithful on God. Atheists are more faithful on their beliefs, not believing God. So because even the cockroaches, even the white ants, even the bees, they have faith. From morning to evening, they are in a sequence, they are in a routine. Faith is something innate.
Dear Bhante, in walking meditation, is it good to maintain the breath as a secondary object? And if so, how?
Better not to promote it, but if it is happening, don't take it as a distraction. Take it as a facilitating factor and use it. They don't, intentionally try to take another one. Walking means walking. If it's happening, take it and go, but don't mingle with my feet the secondary object.
What should I be doing in the third or fourth jhana? It feels to me like a relaxing waiting room where I am doing nothing.
Yeah, and we were both, I think it could have been broadcasted, Bhante and myself, and then Bhante was explaining in the jhanic experience, people think as if you are put into a deep freezer and locked, fixed. No. Even in the jhanic experience, you have this, how to call function of the wisdom. So that is how you discriminate the first jhana with the second jhana. That is how you can discriminate the second with the third. So that is there. So therefore, you can't expect it to be benumbed or put into deep freezer and get frozen. More and more you practice, you can understand that the skill is discriminative knowledge is there to a certain extent. So mastery only gives the final conclusion. Otherwise, not the book knowledge, not the deductive knowledge, but the experience. So therefore, keep on practice.
Bhante, please describe the importance of noble silence.
So SMS, slowly, mindfully, silently. Here the silent means listen to your own sounds. When you are walking on the floor, if you make that kind of sounds, maybe disturbing, but don't try to stop it. Just listen. Your own sound. When you are washing a dish, when you are brushing your teeth, listen. That's the shortest cut to become mindful, self-aware. So that is noble silence. It is ever reducing. As far as you are listening, as far as you are being responsible about your sound pollution, not only the meditation center, not only the sitting meditation, whatever the sounds, you have to be aware. Then slowly you will be going toward the equilibrium. That is very noble.
Dear Bhante, let me explain my breakfast experience. When I,
You'll be tired.
these last two, these have 4 more questions, and these two are very long.
You can ask the person to read it.
No, I got it. Let me explain my breakfast experience. When in the queue, there was a bit of a wait. Since fasting, we were a bit eager to the cue to move faster. Then we realize this is a good opportunity to practice patience and mindfulness and empathy. But others were word I can't translate. Sentence I can't really translate. I think it's others were waiting good to be the food to be cleared. Was this right approach? Kindly explain. Basically, I think they're being patient, mindful, and empathetic.
So when I was traveling from Sri Lanka to America, there was a gap of 24 hours without meals. And next day, got the breakfast at 7:30, and I expected how the body is going to respond. And that effect was lingering for 3 days. Second day I came here, and third day when I'm going on a Pidapata queue, Bhante came and asked, how is your sleep? I still having the jet lag. Then I said, Bhante, yesterday I had a nice sleep, but I have a great hunger. And while talking, we become delayed. Please move. But that part he never heard. When we are talking, it is nearing the table. And please go. I had a really nice sleep, but I am very now that is slowly reducing. So when it is happening, you see, you have no control. Foods are there, and you have such a hunger, and you have to wait for the etiquettes and all the kind of thing, and then the need of your mind and the social etiquettes, huge fight. And that is what we call food chain. In animals, all the small animals are being eaten lively by the big animal. Their death is at the jaw. This is what it happens. So evolution. Day by day we are creating methods and ways and means to have it. So this is what the Buddha says, Idani ahara gavitti dukkha. Past also the same. Future also the same. In present moment also, in seeking your portion, it's utter dukkha. And if it is going to misdigest, another dukkha. And if it is not the proper type of meal that you expect, another dukkha. So this is the throughout that, even if you wish to be a god or a king or a prince or whatever it is, exactly the same dukkha. So we are now rehearsing it in terms of mindful eating. Good.
This is happening in every single retreat I have done so far. In second or third retreat day, this strong thought comes where I see no one I know is alive or around. My parents, relatives, everyone I love, everyone I have even connected with are not there, nowhere. I see empty something, lonesome something. I start missing everyone. I eagerly wait for the retreat to end so I can go back home. Lately, I start thinking again, all these people I missing during retreat days are not meant to stay here forever. That thought of impermanence brings me back to the retreat again. As Buddha mentioned, this is the only way of self-purification. Could you just suggest the way to deal with this lonesomeness?
Yeah. In the Goenka system, it says in the fourth day, you have to keep the doors locked because everyone is thinking jumping over the fence. Let up with sitting, and you develop the nice foods and relatives and this and football games and the cricket and all the kind of thing. So this is fourth day, you have to somebody have to manage or better to keep the doors locked. So even if you become a monk, very first few days, very, very colorful and enthusiastic. And slowly, slowly that thrills and thrills fade off. And you're going to contemplate. What is I am going to gain? Again, the same old lay person under the robe and with the bald headed. So this is how try and see with you. You can give any kind of external changes, but internally we have our own calculation. And when we are sharing, it has some aesthetic value. Otherwise, we keep it as a private and confidential. So therefore, when you are practicing, going to retreat or becoming a monk, or you are changing religion, changing the wife, whatever it means, exactly the same. You can try when you are divorcing the first wife and the second wife, third you marry the first wife. That is the life. What did the Buddha say about the sex? Yes. Yeah, we can go in.
Not positive. What did the Buddha say about sex? Simply for procreation, or could it be for connection, intimacy, as long as not getting attached as a central pleasure?
So the simple way is abstaining from sexual misconduct. And that's a monkhood, and that's a ordination. But in the lay life, the sex is okay as far as it's not a misconduct. And there he has given 4 sutras at least, how to run a family life, how to relate with the children, how to relate with the wife, and how to with the parents. So therefore, you have to understand, not a single other teacher prescribed celibacy. They can't. But the Buddha, within the limited capacity, he prescribed. But it is not obligatory. You can try, you can put yourself. So therefore, very difficult to think the life without this part, was without the sex. So when the Sigmund Freud was explaining how the ego and the superego and it is working, ultimately contemporary people complain him as a Jewish pornography. They was not happy to accept what the Sigmund Freud is presenting. Because he told every behavior, each and every single behavior, explain your sex. It's monitored by sex. But the Buddha, he told each and every behavior monitored by sensuous pleasure, not the sexual pleasure. And the present day modern culture is have sex but no children. That is why the males are together with males and the females are with the females and all the kind of thing, because they know it is too much of population. But they wanted to have the sex industry for money. So they are perverted. It's doing nothing that kind of a perversion in animal kingdom. But control is there. And nothing in the animal kingdom committing suicide. But human beings, we call cultured and we are learned, but you see these problems because this has become an institutionalized now. Otherwise, in a village kind of atmosphere, they were there, all the kind of thing, but it is not a big issue. So therefore, it is well explained in the Buddhist way of teaching that not to explain what is to be, but what is the relationship within your family life. And if you are going to trespass or transgress, these are the consequences. So therefore, you have to understand if as a monk or as a nun or as a layperson, it is not being hidden. It is explained. And if you go to the monastic code, basically start with this issue. And that's why many lay people are not exposed to that you wish to become a samanera or if you wish to become a higher order, it is given so much. So when the Jnanananda was a Pali teacher in the university, and there is many people, many children, many students, they are reading monastic quotes for phonography. All the combinations are being depicted. There's nothing left. So each and everyone for the discipline, each and everyone to give the knowledge and to these are the precautions, these are the disadvantages, these are the advantages of not doing. And that is the way you have to study and learn. Specifically, if you go for the monastic code, lot of indications are there. And if you go to the Bhikkhuni Vibhaga, about the rules and regulations for the high old age nuns, very, very sensitive. That each and every male or monk must learn all the Bhikkhuni Vibhaga to see the other party. So therefore it's a huge treatment.
Bhante, are you teaching additional retreats at Bhavana this year? If so, which ones?
This year in Bhavana?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I come usually once a month. Usually I used to go to the Chuanian monastery also with Bhikkhu Bodhi, but this time after COVID we had no incision. And there may be some other meditation sessions in New Jersey and Minnesota and kind of thing. They are basically single medium. This is the one having in English medium. If you will behave well, I will come next year. That's all. So we have post 12 past the time. It is 7:12. We are supposed to stop at 6 o'clock.
6:30.
6:30. So today anyway, we have finished all the questions. Thank you very much for reading. And this is the end of the session. Thank you very much for the participation.